Hi, so welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to tackle the creation of PR and approval of the PR as well as PO when you are in the business type for sole proprietorship. So we'll get right to it. So the first step is you're going to go to the procurement section and choose purchase requisitions. Then you're going to click create PR. I'd already written the title and chosen the department. And then in the requested item, you can add what you want to request. We want to order standard copy paper, five boxes, each is 1,500 Kenya shillings. And then we've added a description. In the description area, whoever is actually creating the PR can also even suggest the supplier that they want. So it again depends on how the company is working. So with that, we can just click create draft PR and you can see the PR has already been created for us. Then you can click on view and submit that PR for approval. Now, because you as a sole proprietorship, you are the only person in this system and you have chosen the business type for sole proprietorship, you are also the one who's going to approve the PR. So you can see here on the notification bell, we have been given a notification that a PR has been created and it needs approval. So you will click it and you will come here to the approval detail page. You will be able to see the reference number for your PR, the entity type, what the title is, the original amount, the base amount, the exchange rate if you've used a different currency, the exchange rate date, the purchase requisition approval workflow, and the current approval level, which is the procurement review. So once you look at it, you can either view the PR detail or you can decide to approve or reject. In our case, we're going to approve. Once you approve it, again, because you are in a sole proprietorship, you will receive a task in your task notification area and it will show you that there's an action awaiting for you. There's an approved PR that is ready for PO creation. So you will click that and you will be able to create your PO. So this page can be accessed either through here, the task icon, or you can actually just go to the purchase order section and you will find that the PR that has been approved is already in the purchase order section. And in this section, you can either choose to create a standalone PO or you can choose to just create a PO from PR. For our example, we are going to create a PO from PR. Okay, now when you click create PO from PR, you come to this page and you want to now select your suppliers. So if you're a procurement officer or someone who's familiar with purchasing, you will of course contact your suppliers, figure out who has the best prices, and then you will come and choose or select that supplier. So we're going to look for category for a situation, office supplies. It's giving us Apex Office Solutions. So we're going to click on that. That's the supplier that we have selected. We can write for them a note as to what we want them to do. So maybe we can tell them, since we're a sole proprietorship, maybe we can tell them to drop the items in a different address. We can tell them to drop them in our house. So we can say deliver the boxes to our location, something of that sort. Then you can click create purchase order. Then after that, it will take you to this page where you can now ensure that everything looks correct. So do we need to edit the PO? No. Are we dispatching the PO? No. Is everything okay? In terms of the supplier we've selected, yes, the supplier we selected, we can see the supplier we selected is the right supplier. So now we can click submit for approval. And once you submit it for approval again, you will see that there's a notification on your notification bell, which is PO purchase order review, which needs approval. So you'll click on it. Then you will again confirm that every information is correct before you either approve or reject it. Once you've approved, it will show up in your task icon. And now here is the place where we decide to send our PO to our supplier. And you can see we have different purchase order actions. You can either download that PDF, have it signed, then upload that signed PDF back and send it to the supplier. Or because sometimes for small businesses they do things off the book, you can call the supplier and tell them what you need. If you do that, you will mark as shared with supplier so that it can be able to go to the invoices section. Without marking that the PO has already been shared with supplier, you cannot be able to create an invoice for it. So we want to make sure that first the PO has already been shared with the supplier, and because it's been shared with the supplier, we can now be able to create an invoice for it. So in this, for this example, we can just click mark as shared with supplier, mark as shared. Now, since you're in sole proprietorship, you can create an invoice here, or you'll come here to the taskbar and you'll see there's a PO ready for invoice creation. We are going to click create invoice here so that we can be able to see the different features in our system. So it's giving us the purchase order name, the supplier, the total. You leave the invoice number blank so that it can be generated. You can look at the cost and everything and create an invoice. Once you click create invoice, you can submit the invoice for approval. And the invoice again will show up in your notification bell icon, and you can decide to approve it or reject it. So we look at the information we've been given here. Is everything correct? Yes, it is. We approve. Then again, we receive a notification in our task icon telling us that an approved invoice has come to our section and we need to approve it, or rather, we need to create a payment for it. You can click payment, check the price. Okay, this is the invoice, Apex Office, completed, paid. Can read everything there to make sure that your invoice is correct before you make any payments. So we can write the amount. We can maybe decide that we've used M-Pesa, and then we can write the reference of the M-Pesa that the M-Pesa reference number that we're given once we pay the supplier. And then once we have created that payment, we can submit it for approval. Once we submit it for approval, again, we will see it in the notification. Then we will again approve or reject the payment. And just like that, we have completed the entire procurement process. Now you'll notice that the dashboard starts to change. It shows you the purchase requisition, one was created, the purchase order, one was created. The total approval spend is at 0 at the moment because we've already completed everything. We've completed the whole procurement process. If you want to see how much you've spent, you can come to the reports section and you'll be able to view the total PR value for the item that was requested, the PO value, the invoice report value, outstanding invoice if you've not paid the full amount. You can also look at the supplier lead time to see how fast they actually sent it. You can see for us it's um the items were delivered on the same day. And that's it for sole proprietorship. You can also export CSV and export Excel and do your data analytics. So that's it for this. Let's meet in the next video where we are going to create invoices in partnership and in company business types. Thank you for your time.